I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. This is the Billionaire Brown experience. Let's go.
All right, hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Billionaire Brown here with a second-time guest, man. This time's gonna be a little bit different because Mr. Do It All Do Kelly, or is it Dupree Kelly or Dupre Kelly? Which one is it?
It's Dupre Kelly.
All right, Dupre Kelly. All right. So I'm gonna just start firing away some questions, and then we'll go from there. I guess the first question would be, what made you decide to run for office?
It was several different things that finally made me make a choice to, choose a decision to run for office. And one of them was just being in the hip hop culture, man. There was a lot of different influences, in my life, just with dealing with business, dealing with different people from all over the country, from all over different countries, all over the world, and seeing some of the things that were happening community-wise within neighborhoods and different cities, different countries, and coming back to my city and wanted to be part of the change that I wanted to see happen in my city. And another thing was a 20-year-old me had a conversation with Tupac Shakur, or 21-year-old Tupac Shakur at the time. And we were in Florida on tour, Lords of the Underground, Patra, Tupac, and Outkast. That was the tour back then. And Tupac and Lords of the Underground, Tupac and the Outlaws, and and Thug Life and Lords of the Underground used to share a van together. And a part of my party was being late on, not me, but somebody in my party was being late every day on when we shared a van with Pac. So Pac started talking in third person, just kind of, I felt like he was disrespecting Newark, because he was talking in third person to the Thug Life dudes, this my tour, people making me late, this my money, they'll find themselves out of here, and I just felt like it was disrespectful because none of my crew was saying anything. So I started talking in third person, like people who act like they from the West Coast when they really from the East Coast, and we kind of almost got into, we almost kind of got into a fight, and nevertheless, it calmed down. Our people got on the van. We went to the arena. We did our show. We came back, and when we came back, maybe a half hour, 20 minutes later, I get a knock on my hotel room door. Well, it was motels then because it was outside. But I get a knock on my door, and I look out the curtain. It's Pop, and he got his hands full, his arms full. He's carrying a bag and something. So I immediately called DJ Lord Jazz, my DJ, and tell him, yo, Pac at the door, because he was in the van when we were getting into the little argument. And he's like, yo, you want me to come up there? I'm like, nah, he's by himself. But I'm just letting you know, just in case anything else arises, you know what's going on. And so Pac, I open the door, Pac look at me, and he's like, you ain't gonna let me in? All right, I moved out the way. He came in, he sat on the bed. He had a 40-ounce of beer. He had a Newport behind his ear. He threw me a 40-ounce. He had a T-shirt that had Thug Life on it. He gave me that. He lit up his Newport, cracked his beer open, and he looked at me and said, you know you was wrong, right? and the crazy thing is, he was right. He was right. I just didn't feel like, I didn't feel like the way he was talking, it was making us look crazy, so I had to stick up and say something, or I felt like the Thug Life crew would have thought we was punks or something. And when we did that, just to fast forward, when we did that, we started getting into a conversation about how hip-hoppers and MCs need to become more popular in their communities so that they can, in the entertainment business, so they can come back to their communities and generate and start and initiate different youth programs and put more money into our youth in the communities and things of this nature. Now, we're 21 and he's talking like this. And he was saying, you know, and just to fast forward a little more, he said, and then we might have to do something we don't want to do. And I was like, what's that? He said, we might have to become elected officials because that's the only true way that we'll be able to effectively make change with ordinances and laws and codes and different things like that. He said, you have to do it in Newark. I have to go to Oakland and do it, and Ice Cube had to do it in LA. And, you know, he was just naming rappers who were hot at the time and saying that we need to get more popular so we can all do it. And I just thought, I'm like, wow, as I started reflecting back on that time, making the decision to run, I said to myself, I did everything that we said in that conversation, from starting a nonprofit, from putting my business smack dab in the middle of my city, to all of that, to being the change that I wanted to see in my community by being an example, except run for office. And then another thing that kind of contributed to me running was being around the senator, being around freeholders, being around the councilman, being around the mayor, being around all the political powers that might be, the congressmen within our city, smoking cigars with them, being privy to hang out at some of the places that they hang out, having the opportunity to go to some fundraisers and just be in their presence and see their work. I realized that a lot of these guys, you know, just have the power, and some of them weren't really connecting with the people anymore. It was almost like a long-handled spoon from your elected officials to the residents in the community, and I don't think it should ever be like that. And if it starts to get like that, then you start not to speak the language that the residents speak anymore. You start not to have a true understanding of what the residents are living through and going through and living in. So I just felt like that they were all hiring me to galvanize the community and the people in the residents in the neighborhood. They were utilizing me to put on festivals and to put on arts and cultural events and things that can bring the neighborhoods out. And I said to myself, you know, let me just get a seat at the table so we can have a voice, because we don't have a voice at the table. We don't have a voice. You know, hip hop is the pop culture now. And anytime you think about the pop culture of any society, it always has drove society forward, the pop culture. And if hip-hop has been the pop culture for about the last 18 to 20 years, and we don't have a seat at any political governing table around the country, anywhere in the world, period, then there's something wrong with that. If you utilize us to move society forward, but we don't have a seat a representative doesn't have a seat at the table, then there's something wrong with that. Then things can get lost in translation. You know, instead of talking about our history, you start giving his story, you know. So you know, that's one of the reasons.
I want to pull you in to a debate I just had with my parents a couple days ago. And we have our differences.
No doubt.
You just talked about the electoral position and how we need to get some people in position. Would it be safe to say that did Donald Trump win? Hillary won with the popularity vote, which is, let's say, my vote and your vote, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And Donald Trump, although he lost the popular vote, he won the electoral vote. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. I got 3 questions about this electoral college. This is what I'm trying to educate people on as well as educate myself. What is the electoral college?
The electoral college to me, it's just almost a barometer to keep politicians honest, or so they say. You know, and what I mean by that is the electoral college is, if you have a small city and we did not have an electoral college, that means that the politicians do not have to care about them or show care about them. They don't have to go to their cities because they don't seem as important. And when you deem something as not as important, you treat it as such. you don't treat it with all of the care as you would treat the things that you think are more important, right? I mean, when you have something, that's important in your life, you treat it you treat it differently than you do at something that's less important, right?
Absolutely.
So it's the same way with the Electoral College. The Electoral College was created to keep these politicians and these campaigns honest. So let's take it, if you have a small city, let's say that only has, or state that only has 300,000 people or 1 million people, then, excuse me, then a politician might say, without the Electoral College, might say, I'm not going there. Why waste the time and the money when it doesn't really matter? When nobody's really gonna, it doesn't really matter to us. But when you give that same state, when you give them 15 electoral credits or 20 electoral credits as votes, now it matters, because when you give New York 10, but you give the small state 15 or 20, now you have to go to New York because all of the people are there, but now you have to go to this small city too because it has more electoral votes. You understand?
Absolutely. But how do you get into the Electoral College? Is it something that, like how do you get into the Electoral College?
Now that I do not know. I don't know how you get into the Electoral College. And I think that it needs to be examined. It needs to be explained to the regular people more, the voters, because I believe probably 90 or 85% of the people who vote, they don't understand what this Electoral College is. We understand what it means, what I just said, but like you said, there's a lot of unanswered questions. How do you get in? Who is the Electoral College? How does a state get appointed more votes than another state? So there's a lot of questions to be asked about Electoral College.
All right, and do you know who's in the Electoral College or no?
No, I don't know the committee that handles the Electoral College, but okay. I know that there is a committee, and they appoint the votes to different states who are smaller in size or less likely to get visited by our political people.
Okay, excellent. So I want to switch gears just for a second. I was online just streaming as much as I can, which I typically do with anything you're connected with. So I kind of just go in the Twitter search, or I go into the YouTube search or Google search, and I just search "Do It All, Do Kelly," and I click on either articles or I click on videos, and I came across Redman, which is I know is a great friend of you. He was recently on the Angie Martinez show.
Yeah.
And also, if you're on Instagram, you need to follow Do It All, Do Kelly. You just type in, just search Do It All, Do, and we'll also put it in the notes here for you on iTunes. But Redman was on the Angie Martinez show, and he said that you personally, he was talking about you. He said you don't like where the money in Newark is going, and everybody, Do It All, Do Kelly is running for the councilman of Newark. I actually have my campaign shirt on as we speak. It's super dope.
Man. Thank you.
And it says, all right, so he says that you don't like where the money is going in Newark. And he specifically said you want to get into office, and one of the things that you want to do is put some money into the education in Newark. What type of education are you talking about, and why is allocating more money in education so important to you once you win?
Well, first of all, Newark, New Jersey, for, I believe, I might be a little wrong on the number, but I believe almost 20 years. I think maybe since 96. Yeah, over 20 years. 96, Newark Board of Education was taken over control by the state of New Jersey. Usually a city handles its own Board of Education and its school system. So when that happened, when the state control happened in our city, a lot of things were cut. And when you talk about schools, and it's not just Newark schools, it's happened to a lot of our public schools when you talk about charter schools coming into any city like Newark, New Jersey. things like music and arts and culture classes get cut. And I just believe, man, from traveling the world and visiting different schools all around the world, it's so important to have the mind be able to focus on things like music and arts and culture and things of that nature, because when you get back to the mathematics and the science and the reading and writing, all of that arts and all of that culture, I don't know what it does to the mind, but I do know that it helps you with the other things that are taken on academic wise. You know, it helps you academically. So what Red was saying, and I know that this money or whatever, all he's saying is that I want to help put music programs, put arts programs, put that culture back into our public school system. The same finances that we give charter schools, even though I know a lot of them are private, I want to see that same money put back into our public school system.
But to what extent? Like, what is that going to look like? Like arts and music? Isn't there arts and music already in our educational system? Or
well, when you talk about Newark, New Jersey, we have, and maybe don't quote me on a number exactly again, but I know that we have very few schools with music programs. So I teamed up with the Grammy Museum in Newark, New Jersey, and the Board of Education, who teamed up with VH1 Rocks to try to supplement that, to try to buy new instruments and create different programs. Because if we have 100 schools in Newark, New Jersey, only 10 of them have programs. That's not a great investment. And that's what I mean when I say, and when I've been saying in my interviews, we need to make a greater investment into our youth. I just believe in order for us to have a better tomorrow and a better future, then we need to make a greater investment into the people who are going to be the residents and the citizens of our future. And right now, that is our youth. So we need to make a better and greater investment into the things that they need in our public school system. We need to make a greater investment into our summer youth job programs for our youth. We need to make a greater investment into our youth budget just period. Right now, Newark, New Jersey spends about $1.3 million on youth programs for the youth in Newark, New Jersey. And $1.3 million, yeah, it's $1 million, but that's not enough. That is not enough.
Is it true that Mark Zuckerberg put money into, where did any of that go to Newark or no?
Well, Mark Zuckerberg,
he gave like $100 million or something to New Jersey. I didn't know if any of that touched Newark, and if so, where did it go?
Mark Zuckerberg gave $100 million, the mysterious Facebook $100 million to Newark, New Jersey. But people don't know that in that plan, Newark, New Jersey also had to match it with $100 million. I believe it takes $100 million or $200 million to run the Newark, New Jersey school system. The Newark, New Jersey school system every year. So Mark Zuckerberg just paid half of the fee that it normally takes. Now, if we had the fee to cover the expenses for Newark, New Jersey, and then Mark Zuckerberg gave $100 million on top of that, then I think we would be able to see the results of what he did. But really, he just covered the bill that was already there. Okay, so you didn't really see it didn't really look any different, because even if he would have gave that money or not, it would have been the same thing. You know, so and you know,
that's one of the things. Oh, go ahead.
A lot of that, you know, went to implementing some charter schools. You know, that was under the Cory Booker regime, so I can't really accurately tell you exactly where that money went, but I do know that a whole district that allows teachers and business owners to live in a facility that the students actually learn in, and they call it Teachers Village now. So I know that money was supposed to be part of helping that. So
yeah, and I like to, I think not just myself, but I think everybody included, the let me just speak personally. Personally, the reason why I'm supporting, the reason why I'm, bringing awareness to you running for councilman of Newark is because I don't know when you made the decision to run for this political office. You'll be the first hip-hop person in politics, correct? In history.
Yeah, correct, man. Correct.
Okay.
So
and you've been doing the groundwork. Like, you've already been positioning yourself. Like you just mentioned, you just partnered up for some programs already, and this probably was before you started running. You've been known the people in the community, the decision makers. You've been rubbing shoulders with them. So,
yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah, those are the type of people that you want, not the person that's just like, oh, I'm just going to run. You want somebody that's already in the trenches that, I think that's really dope. Have you been receiving a lot of that? Like people are like, yo, I'm behind you because you're already, it's just fit for you?
I've been receiving a lot of different reactions, and the reactions that they've been coming in different tiers, I should say. So when I feel like the Gandhi statement, one of the Gandhi quotes when he says, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. And the reason why I feel like that is because, like I told you, like you said, I've already been in the trenches doing all of this work with my nonprofit organization, 211 Community Impact. So 211 Community Impact put me around political figures who I already have relationships with from the neighborhoods. And then it made me privy to other things that I can add on and help with within the city. And by doing that, when I decided, it was after all of that. It was after just being around these political figures who I felt like were getting older and wasn't that connected anymore. And they were utilizing me for those connections. So I went to those people and asked them, I just believe in respect. Anytime you're doing something that I'm not doing and I try to enter into that arena, I must come to the big wigs, almost like it's a mafia type thing. I must come to the big wigs and just get an understanding and let them know what I'm trying to do and see what the ups and downs are, or even if it's respected by them. So I went to a couple of the big wigs and I asked them, and almost all of them told me that I should wait. They told me that I should wait to 2022 so they can walk me in. And I said, walk me in? I don't want to be walked in. Anything I do, I want to earn it. And then I felt like if you guys walk me in, I will forever be indebted to you politically. And I don't want to come in anywhere having any political debt. I don't want to be the puppet of anybody. Now, I know that there's some things that you wash my back, I wash yours, and all of that type of stuff. But the least of political debt you can have going into office, I don't need their money. I don't need, I'm not doing it for fame or anything like that. So typically the things that people go in it for, I've already had through the entertainment business. So I didn't need none of that. So I didn't realize that I was a threat to them because I didn't need what a lot of them go for. So by getting into the game, I asked them, they told me to wait to 2022. But one guy who was like a mentor to me said, you know what? Play chess, dude. Act like this is a chessboard and play chess. So make a move. And what I did is I told three of the biggest mouthpieces that were intertwined in politics in our city a thought that I was thinking about. But it was strategic because I told them because I knew that they were going to go and run their mouth to the powers that be. And I said, depending on how they run their mouth and the reaction that the people that they ran their mouth to, I will know if I had another move. And if I don't have another move, and like chess, if you don't have another move, game is over. So I had another move. And I said, wow, okay, they fell for that. Then I just started playing the game. The thought was, you go run your mouth and tell the people, and then I would see all of these people that act like they love me and wanted me to help them with programs and gave me certain city funding on certain things to give me, to help with these programs, if they would back away from me and not give me funding, if they would start acting political and not wanting to be around me for thinking I'm going to take a position or something, then I know that it affected them. Then I know that everything that I was doing for them and everything that they considered to do was not really real. It was only for power and a seat in politics, and once I did that, it started buzzing. And also it was to see the temperature, to see if people really respected me enough to take a seat in the city, if they would be behind me. And it worked, and people started championing for me and started saying, yo, I think, dude, you can really do it. And then I went through some phase, though, where people started to laugh at me. They started to be like, oh, this hip-hop guy, this little hip-hop guy, he wants to get into politics, hip-hop. So that just made me, okay, let me show them. Then I started showing them, and then it started making them fight me. It started making them take away programs. And they're not taking what they didn't realize. You're not taking a program away from me. You're taking a program away from the people. So when they started to do that, it kind of infuriated me because it almost made it seem like, well, it's not really about the people. It's about this money. It's about the seat with you guys, not with me, because for me, it's about the people. And then it just made me put my foot on the game. It made me start to make people, to show people, I'm going to show you guys how to do it. And then now, I had people who take my phone conversations. I had people take surveillance pictures of me. I had people not wanting to be in a picture with me because I'm independent and not with a party. So everything that I'm doing is forming strength for me, but they don't like that because they're not controlling it. So it just created a whole nother wave. So now people realize the strength that I'm coming with. So now you starting to see people starting to switch sides. Some people starting to come on my side and say, whoa, wait a minute. Do-It-All really has a chance. Let me not disrespect him because if he win, I don't want to be out of his grace.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy, man.
All right, so we're doing hashtag Newark NJ. We're doing hashtag Councilman at Large 2018. We're doing hashtag Do-It-All. We're doing hashtag Do-It-All for Newark. And we're doing what? 973-846-2211. That's a text. You guys could text that right now and make a donation to the Do-It-All for Newark. The maximum, he cannot accept legally over $2,600. We want to know why, and we want to know where is it going.
Okay, so when you text that number to support the journey, Newark has 5 wards. I'm running for Councilman at Large, and that is for the entire city. So when you run for at large, it takes about $20,000 to $30,000 just to campaign in one ward. That money goes to paying staff, paying volunteers for being out there, paying for campaign materials, paying for everything. So when you talk about it's 300 polling sites in Newark, New Jersey. When you're talking about putting just 2 people or 3 people at each polling site at $100 each day, you can do the math on that, and that's just for one ward. I'm running for 5 wards. So I need to need about, $125,000 to $130,000, maybe $150,000 just to be safe, because on election day, we're going to be probably using about $60,000 to $70,000 to pay people to get out there, help us campaign and poll. So that's basically where the money is going.
All right, excellent. So I got a couple questions that fit perfectly with this, and this is from our listeners. Mm-hmm. What can people who don't live in New Jersey do to support your campaign?
Man, the people that do not live in New Jersey, See, this campaign is bigger than me. This is not about, when I say do it all for Newark, it's not just my name. I'm saying to the Newarkers that if you love this city, if you want to see this city do better, if you want to see this city become, great again, as they say in America now, then all I'm asking you to do is for you individually to do everything that you can to become the change that you want to see. Do everything that you can for your city, because we can't always blame elected officials, because we're not doing the things that we should be doing also. If you rent or own a home, we're not cleaning up in front of our homes like we should. We're not going to council meetings or school board meetings like we should. We're not even voting like we should. Only 38% of the state, 35% of the state came out to vote on November 7th that just passed. 35%. So that means that we're not even voting like we should, because we feel like that we don't have any respect of the power of the ballot. But we do. We do. You see, local elections are super way more important than federal elections, because the federal elections deal with the Electoral college like we talked about earlier. But the vote in the city elections, it deals with just a popular vote. If you go in there and say that little bit down, then everything goes to that person that you pulled for. And that's what we have to do. So
that's what I was actually looking for. That was one of the other questions that I had, was the difference between the one that's every 4 years and the one that's every year. And that popular vote, because like I said, I'm not the only one that's afraid to vote these days because of what happened with how Trump got in. We won the popular, but we lost the electoral that we knew nothing about. But now you just said this local voting, the annual voting, there ain't no other electoral college involved in that. You said
that's on your federal
no
level.
middleman.
No, that's no middleman in local elections. And when you talk about local elections are considered state, city, and county-wise. So those are local elections, state, city, and county. The only federal election is the President of the United States. That's the only time electoral college matters.
Okay.
But other than that, everything, all politics are local, as they always say. And that's what they mean by that. So your vote for local elections are way important, man. Even probably more important than the federal. They mean more because your vote actually goes where you send it. You know what I mean?
You gotta see me over here smiling, do it all, because I'm 37 years old. I think I got a good head on my shoulders, but I never knew the difference. I never knew the difference in the power. I hate the middleman, to be completely honest. So that's really dope. Now, I wanted to ask you, man, because I want to stay on this just for a second more. People that are not in, because this is a podcast, it's on iTunes, people are going to just be searching it. As we get closer to the November 2018, when you're being voted in, right?
May 8th, 2000, yeah.
Okay, May 8th. So a lot can happen between now and then, and people do want to support you, but people are all around the United States and all around the globe listening to this. I saw you on Instagram rocking your hat. I guess you just got it in the mail. And fresh off the press, and you was just doing your little, your swag joint where you was like, I like this joint, fresh. Now, these hats, cause I got this shirt on. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. I got this shirt on and rocking it. You know what I'm saying? When I do my videos, I'm rocking it. And doesn't that help? So if we don't live in New Jersey, we don't live in Newark, wouldn't picking up a shirt or picking up a hat and just wearing it in their normal day, wouldn't that help the campaign?
Yeah, it does, and that's why we doing it, man. You can get a hat. You can text hat and shirt to 973-846-2211. So 973-846 2211. If you text hat and shirt to that number, wait for a text back. It's going to say how much do you want to donate. The shirts are $30 and the hats are $35. If you donate a total of $65, you get both of them in the mail to you. And just put the color in the notes. Just put the color of the shirt and size of the shirt in the notes, and we'll send it out to you. And that's a way to help too. Or you can just call that number if you just want to donate any amount. Just donate. Call that number 973-846-2211 and donate any amount that you can that does not exceed $2,600, because by law I would have to send that back to you in 48 hours.
Okay, dope. And I got my black one, so I'm ready to go. Now, we talked about individuals that's not in New Jersey, not in Newark, that won't, you know, they're just out of state. But now I want to ask you a question about, because people want to support this thing. Like, they want to support it, but there's certain people who can't vote either legally, or they're not of age and they can't vote, or what about the people who don't believe in voting, but they support what your campaign is about? What can they do to support your campaign? For people who are against voting, no matter what you say, they will not vote.
Well, the Do It All campaign is about the people. And in order to get me to really represent the people on a whole nother level, you know, the people that can vote should use the power of the ballot. And that's the people in Newark, New Jersey, or whatever your city is. You should use the power of the ballot if there's somebody that represents something that you care about. You should definitely use the power of the ballot. But if not, then if that person has a nonprofit organization and they're not running for any office or anything like that, support their cause, support their nonprofits. And for the people who support me, but they don't want to vote, or they're not of age to vote, or they have legal issues why they can't vote, I had a 10-year-old boy from Minnesota send me, I think it was $5 or $10, say he just followed me online, or 11 years old, follow me online, that he's a fan from just checking my music and stuff out on YouTube, and he sees my movement, and he donated me, I believe it was $10. You know, and that was just beautiful to me, because this guy can't vote. He doesn't even live in my city, and he's not old enough. You know, so you can become part of the movement. Like I said, the Do It All movement is not just about Newark, New Jersey. You know, this is about the hip-hop culture, too. If you're a hip-hop head and you love hip-hop, we have a chance to make history. You have a chance to be a part of it through your contributions, through your donations. You know, because what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to get a seat at the table, so now that a person who understands the language of hip-hop and the culture of hip-hop has a seat at the table. You know, so people can donate whatever they can donate. Just text that number and, you know, wait for the text back and donate whatever you can, man. You know, and just keep spreading the word. Keep hashtagging. If you have friends in Newark, New Jersey, or friends of friends who know friends in Newark, New Jersey, tell them that this is the wave. This is the voice that needs to be heard. This is the chair that needs to be pushed up to the table, man. And that's that Do It All movement, man. Do pray tell it.
Absolutely. And what is, for those who don't know, what is the, we know you want to get a seat at the table, and that's very important. But a lot of us don't know what the responsibility of a councilman is. What is the role of a councilman?
Well, the role of a councilman is that he or she makes sure that the ordinances and laws are in the right context for the people of the city, that the people of the city are involved in and understand what these laws and ordinances are. And then we get to vote on those laws. It's like Congress or the Senate. The mayor comes before us and says, this is what we want. And we get to tell him, Mayor, this is not what the people want. Or Mayor, what do you think? And then we come back to the council chambers and we vote. You know, the mayor wants something passed. We just recently passed ISO, which is called the Inclusionary Zoning Ordinance in our city. And that allows Newark, New Jersey to finally build 40-story buildings. So now that we can bring new business and new people into the city to make the residency of the city grow. But you have to be careful about that, because the only reason why the mayor signed that is because it was a two-part. The ISO includes being able to build vertically up, or and also to have affordable housing attached to that. Because if you don't have affordable housing attached to that, then the people who are already here, they wouldn't be able to afford to live in certain communities. They would get pushed out or pushed to another part of the city. So one hand, you can't do one without the other. If we're going to build 40-story buildings, then we need 40% affordable housing to go into everything that's built in our city. So we get to vote, councilmen and councilmen at large, they get to vote on these type of things that are good for the constituents, good for the residents, good for the people of the city, or that are not good for the people of the city. So you get to say yes or no, and you get to bring these type of laws and ideas and these different policies to the table.
Ah, that's dope. And how would you explain what gentrification is, and are you for or against gentrification?
Well, I'm against anything that pushes our people out, but I am for a city growing. And I believe that Newark is a renaissance city. Newark is a corridor city. And when I say a corridor city, I'm talking about we're just 8 miles away from New York City. So we're very close in proximity to, one of the biggest cities on the map. And by being that, only 20 minutes away, 8 miles away, then we need for this city to grow. We need for Newark, New Jersey to grow. And anytime it grows, there are anytime you have growth, there is growing pains. There are growing pains, And I know that there's going to be some growing pains in Newark, New Jersey. We just have to lessen the blow. And what I mean by lessening the blow, we have to make sure that the people who love this city stay in this city. The people that want to change this city will be here to change it, to make sure that the people that do not want to go anywhere won't be pushed out. And that's some of the things that we look at. So to answer your question, when you talk about gentrification, I'm for a city growing, but I'm not for a city pushing out the people who want to stay here.
I love it. All right, and who are some of the celebrity friends that are giving your running for councilman of Newark, New Jersey a thumbs up?
Oh man, First of all, let me give the biggest shout out to Redman, Mr. Reggie Noble, and his mother, Darlene Noble. They're like my biggest supporters, man.
Muddy Waters too.
Muddy Waters too, man. Shout out to Reggie Noble. Also check out, he's the scare master of ceremonies.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy, man. Reggie is crazy. But make sure you check out his show on VH1, Scared Famous show on VH1. And for Redman, shout out to Method Man who said he's going to do my campaign song. Shout out to Michael Bivens from New Edition and BBD. That's my brother from another. He always has my back. And Belle Biv DeVoe. Shout out to them too, man, showing me love. Shout out to Shaq Diesel. Mr. Shaq.
What up, Shaq?
Shout out to Shaq. And shout out to big super duper shout out to Queen Latifah, man. She has my back. Word up. Queen Latifah. Shout out to Savion Glover. Savion Glover has my back. Shout out to Talent, the comedian. Oh my God, he definitely has my back. Who else? I don't want to forget nobody. Shout out to Rod Digger. Shout out to Wyclef Jean. Yeah, Wyclef definitely showing love, man. And Melky Sadek. Shout out to them. And I don't want to forget anybody. Shout out to Phil Murphy, who is our new governor now. Shout out to Ron Rice, who's our senator, and everybody, man. It's a lot of people. Shout out to Pete Rock. Shout out to Marley Marl. Shout out to Freedom Williams from CNC Music Factory. Shout out to Vinny. Oh my God, Vinny.
Naughty by Nature?
Yeah, Vinnie
Okay.
Brown, KG, and Trigger Tresham. Shout out to the whole Naughty by Nature, man. Definitely. So we got a lot of people that's supporting, man, and really showing love. Shout out to my man Roman Bowman used to play for the Giants. Shout out to my man Marvin Jones, used to play for the Jets. They're showing mad love too, man. So, you know,
That's what's up.
yeah.
Usually when someone runs for office, they would like to change, add, or get rid of something. Out of those three, changing, adding, and get rid of, what are you most excited about doing once you get in?
Well, I'm very excited about changing the dynamics of our city council by putting some fresh new energy on that city council. I'm excited about adding more possibilities as well as money to our youth programs. You know, so those are the big things right there for me.
All right, sweet. And what's this last? Oh, do you believe in self-education?
Yeah, I do, man. I do.
We obviously know about formal education, but how do you feel about self-education?
Well, it depends on what content you mean it, because self-education is, you know, comes through experience. You know, I don't believe that we can do anything by ourselves. You know, I know people say, I'm self-made, but I guarantee you, if he or she tells that story, there's probably 5 to 10 to 20 people that they can list that really has something to do with their success. So when you talk about self-education, I just believe that that's an accumulative of the experiences that you allow yourself to have. You know, I just believe you are who you are and where you are because of you. So self-education, you know, for me, traveling has been a self-education for me. But I wouldn't have traveled if it wasn't for hip-hop. I wouldn't have traveled if Marley Marl didn't believe in us. I wouldn't have traveled if Marley Marl's cousin wouldn't have introduced us. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have traveled through hip-hop. So hip-hop has gave me those experiences, and through those experiences, I was able to self-educate myself in those things through those moments that I lived. So, yeah, it's self-educated, but if it wasn't because of somebody, I wouldn't have been able to educate myself, you know?
All right. Awesome. And we're all avid readers. You have a book that you can recommend to us?
Yeah, I'm reading The Prince right now by Machiavelli.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah,
right,
The Prince
and
by Machiavelli, definitely.
The Prince?
Yeah, The Prince. You know, Sun Tzu, you know, he wrote The Art of War and all of that, but it's his book, man, The Prince. Check out The Prince, man.
All right, we definitely will. And I got one more question from our listeners, and then I got 2 last ones, and then we good. So the last question is from our listeners is, are you scared?
Nah, I'm never scared. I'm not scared. But, you know, I would be lying if I didn't say that when I get to represent my people in front of the masses, when I get to represent my culture of hip hop, does it make me, you know, give me a little nervous butterflies in the stomach before I step in front of a podium or while I'm doing so, just like if I was to before I step on stage? Yes, I get nervous at times, you know, not nervous because I'm scared or not nervous because I'm fearful, but nervous because I want to represent in the right way. I want to be the right representation for my people. If they elect me, or let's just say when, because we're not going to say if, when they elect me as councilman at large, I have a duty to serve the public. I will become now a public servant. And being a public servant, that means that your life is public. That means that the things that you're representing and the people that you're speaking for the public. And I won't be no longer speaking for myself at those times. So that does make me nervous when I have to speak for a mass amount of people. Yes.
All right, that's what's up. And we're really big on teamwork, and I've been fortunate to at least work with at least, 2 or 3 of the people that's on your campaign, on your team. How do you feel about teamwork, and how excited are you about the team that you put together to run this campaign with you?
Well, like I said earlier, man, you should never be the smartest person at the table. I don't care what room you go into, you should never be the smartest person in the room. And I just believe that it's very important. I have a project that I would love to do, man. I would love to get one, I think this might have to be a television show, so put this down right now, but I think I want to get one person from each of the zodiac signs to work on one project together. So 12 different people to work on one project that represents one sign of the zodiac, just to see how that chemistry will work. And that's how I feel about teamwork. I feel like whatever your expertise is, whatever you're good at, you stay in your lane and you do that work. You know, that's what makes a team. When you have a basketball team, you have a point guard, a shooting guard, a power forward, a small forward, and a center for a reason. The center shouldn't be bringing up the rock calling the plays, because that's not his job, unless the team agrees that he or she should do that. So I think that whatever, what makes a team flow together is one thing, is energy. You got to have the right energy, and they have to connect. And then you have to know what you want, know what results you want to get out of you guys being on the same team. And whatever that result is, everybody at the table has to do their part to make up the whole. So I'm big on teamwork, man, and I'm big on everybody playing their position, because once you play your position, the team wins.
All right, that's what's up. And my last question is, let's say just hypothetically, in the world of utopia, we were able to get every single youth in the city of Newark and all the surrounding cities and towns and counties, get all of them just in one room, one location, every last one of them. What would be the message that you would want them to understand when it comes to living a good life?
Well, living a good life, man, it depends on, that's like a loaded question, because living a good life could be somebody just doing whatever they want to do and feeling happy. But in essence, man, for me, because I feel like I have a great life, I have no regrets and I live with my setbacks, but the journey, the way that you travel your journey to whatever destination you're going to, make sure you travel it with care, love, determination, and respect. If you can do that on your journey, you will have a great life, man. And when you speak about it in the sense of to those same people in that, I would tell them to have a great life in your community and in your cities. I just believe, when people love their cities, man, they can change it. When you love anything, you treat it differently. So I just believe when you love your city, man, you can change it. So when you love your life, you can change whatever you need to change about your life.
I love it. All right. Again, guys, hashtag Newark NJ, hashtag Councilman at Large 2018, hashtag Do It All for Newark, hashtag Dupre Kelly, that's DUPREKELLY. And also, remember, if you want to donate to this campaign, you want to text 973-846-2211. You wait for the text back and then reply. Remember to get your gear too. They got the dope hat. They got the shirt. This is Do It All for Newark. Do it all before you go. I have a tendency of cutting people off when I get excited. I want to know an answer to a question, or maybe what is there any last final thoughts you would like to give before we get out of here?
Man, that's it, man. It's just that, everybody in Newark, New Jersey, under the sound of my voice, January 2nd, 2018 is the petition day. That's when petitions come out so we can get myself officially on the ballot. I need over 1,000 signatures, so it shouldn't be a problem, but I just want to make sure that everybody in Newark knows that. Everybody in hip-hop, I want you to understand, man, even if you do not live in Newark, New Jersey, that this is about you as well, because it's about getting hip-hop a seat at an elected official table, and what type of shockwaves that will have to our culture of hip-hop. And to the people in just any and every community, it can be done. Look at our lieutenant governor in Virginia now. Look at our mayor in Birmingham, Alabama now. Look at our new mayor, 38 years old, my frat brother in St. Paul, Minnesota. We're setting the trend. Look at Miss Buttons, I believe her name is Keisha Buttons down in Atlanta, Georgia, making the waves and making the run. Like, we're doing this. It is our time. It is our time to take the control of our destiny within our cities. So just remember, man, when people love their city, they can choose. And definitely in Newark, New Jersey, I just ask everybody to continue to do it all for Newark.
There we go. And what frat are you in? What frat are you?
Alpha Phi Alpha, that black and old gold. Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. 1906.
All right, there we go. And, Do It All Do is on Instagram, DOITALLDU. You can also check them out at doitall4newark.com. And Until next time, Do It All. Continue to be, man. We got you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate y'all, man. Salute.
Let's do it.
Cheers.
Motivating you to firm, fit, and fabulous. Here is our company website, www.femmefatalefitclub.bigcartel.com. We are a no-judgment zone, here to help any woman ready to take control of her health and well-being. Here's our blog, www.femmefatalefitclub.com. We offer not only personal training services and virtual fitness programs, we also offer products such as water bottles, a cute inspirational tank top for women that says #TeamNoExcuses, and support across our social media channels. Come join the club. Follow us on Instagram at Femme Fatale Fit Club, or join our group on Facebook at Femme Fatale Fit Club. Now back to your favorite podcast.